Hey, it's Kaylee with the Warrior Painters podcast. This time, I'm bringing you an episode about Kim DeVera. Kim used to be a programmer and now she is a super dedicated watercolor painter who, as you can say, self-taught. About 2 years ago, Kim picked up painting as a daily practice to accommodate her special health condition, and she's gotten more seriously in recent months. We all have been impressed by how much her art has improved and, more importantly, how much positivity and kindness she's been bringing to our Discord server. Please join me to send good vibes to her on her journey to recovery. And hey Kim, we look forward to painting with you very soon.
Hi, my name is Kim DeVera, and I was a web developer for a long time, but I don't do that anymore. I am a stay-at-home mom now, and I've been painting for about a year and a half. So all of this it's all kind of new for me.
How come I felt like you joined the Plein-air Pro 2 years ago?
That's the thing. So I learned about Plein-air Pro because when you guys started it, Angela added me to the group. I was following the Facebook group. I actually heard about Plein-air through the group, and I've been following Plein-air since the group started, but I never did Plein-air until the Plein-air Pro from 2019.
Right.
So that was the first time I did any Plein-air.
That was last year.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
And I remember we went to visit you in Vegas, and we gave you some of a prize you won last year.
Yeah. I was like, oh, cool! My first time doing Plein-air, and I got a prize. And then I didn't do Plein-air until this year.
So you did it every day for
April
last year, and then you stopped.
Yeah, but now since this last Plein-air Pro, I've actually still been continuing to do more landscapes because I guess they're more interesting to me now, especially with the Discord and being able to talk to everyone. It's like much more inspiring, I guess.
So you get a lot of benefits out of this quarantine, I guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. This quarantine has been great. Yeah, I mean, you can cut this out if you want to, but it's kind of ironic because right before quarantine, at the end of October, I got put on chemotherapy, and when I got the chemotherapy, I actually had to self-quarantine for 3 months. So I was in self-quarantine from the end of October to the end of January. I finished my quarantine in January, and I got to hang out and do things with other people in February. And then in March, I had to self-quarantine again because of COVID. So I only had 1 month of no quarantine since October. And I was like really upset at first, but then I was like, wow, this quarantine is so much better than the last quarantine because 1, I'm healthier, and 2, there's other people suffering with me. So ironically, this quarantine has been much more fun. It's funny because for most people, quarantine's really bad, but like for me, it's like, oh wow, what an improvement in life standards. So, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to cut this if you're okay to share.
No, yeah, you can keep it. It's fine.
Yeah, but because you brought it up, I wonder if you want to just share about your health condition as well.
Oh, yeah.
Something you want to talk about?
Yeah. I have what's called MS. It's multiple sclerosis. It's a autoimmune disease where your immune system attacks your brain and your spine, and it causes me a lot of random symptoms, but the main ones are like fatigue and numbness and that kind of stuff. And for the most part, people with MS don't die early. You lose control of your
body.
Your body, yeah. So the way that I found out I had MS was my hands went numb and I couldn't feel my fingers and my toes. My nerve endings getting messed up. I was diagnosed in 2012, and
that was when you were still a programmer?
Yeah, and that was bad because since my fingers went completely numb, I couldn't feel the keys on my keyboard. So I couldn't type. So like for the first time in my life, I had to type looking at the keyboard, and that was just really frustrating for me. And it was really tough. But I think humans are really resilient. And if you give the human mind enough time to get used to stuff, the brain just decides, oh, this is the new normal, so that you can keep going. I adapted. It's not the best situation, but it is what it is. And in October, I got put on a new medication, which is the one I was talking about earlier. The new medicine is really good. I wasn't able to walk without a cane for like 2 years, but since I took the new medicine, I haven't had to walk with a cane since January.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you.
Unless you feel better too right now, right?
Yeah, it's better. So I have one more dose of chemotherapy at the end of this year, and if it works, then I have a 60% chance of never dealing with MS again. So we'll see.
Wow.
It's like gambling. Yeah.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thanks. Yeah, one of the reasons I started painting was actually because in October of 2018, I got really sick, and I actually wasn't really able to like walk for a while. And one of the few things that I was trying to think of things that I could do while I was sick, and like couldn't do things. And I was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll try painting. And then I found this like online tutorial for watercolor, and I started it. And it was just so nice to be able to complete something, like something small, and feel like I was actually doing something in my day. Because like sometimes when I'm really sick, I can't do even small things like clean, or take my son to school, or even those small things. But I would feel like if I even finished a painting, even it's like a 2-stroke painting, it would make me feel a lot better. So I kind of use painting as my therapy, I guess.
Right. I was gonna say that it sounds like you are using painting as one of your medications.
Yeah, for sure. And what's funny is like being on the Discord, a lot of people on there are real like artists by trade, and artists, it's their career, and it's like a serious thing. And being exposed to that, it makes me like get excited, and I'm like, I start like, oh, I need to like try to take classes and do that stuff. And so I got like caught up, and I was like doing all that stuff, and at some point I was like, wait, this is making me unhappy because I'm getting so stressed out from doing homework, like so then I was like, wait, I'm not in school anymore. I'm not like, I don't know why I'm letting myself get stressed out over this. So I've actually dialed back a lot.
So you were participating in those online classes when they were doing those school?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, like I took a schoolism class, and then I was doing like draw box, which is like you do like 250 boxes and stuff like that. I did feel myself improving, but it was also causing me a lot of stress. And I was like, you know what? I'll just let it happen organically, any kind of improvement, instead of like forcing myself to do these things. Yeah, I came to the realization that like it's better to just let it go. Like I'm not trying to make money from it. So it's like really just my hobby. I mean, although I do sometimes make money from people buying my paintings, which is nice, but yeah, I don't do it for the purpose of earning money.
Yeah. Maybe you're a little bit competitive yourself. That's why when you're learning with others, you're like, I have to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's like competitive or like when I don't know if you do this, but I do this. When I'm hanging out at someone's house or something at like a party, and someone gets up and starts cleaning, I'm like, oh gosh, it's cleaning time. I should get up and start cleaning too. Going on the Discord, seeing everyone so focused and so they're just such hard workers, and it's cool to see people improve from just like all the studying and all the the grit that they have. And it's like, I should do that. That's what I should do. It's one of those things. It's like, I have to, especially with my health, I have to weigh how much each thing is worth. Like, how much is my stress worth compared to improving, you know?
Tough struggle.
Yeah. So for the past like 2 months, I've just been doing tiny paintings, like 2.5 inch or 2 inch paintings, which has been really fun. But yeah.
Did you paint or do any sort of art before this?
I mean, I've always enjoyed like doodling, and I've always enjoyed drawing like cutesy anime characters. If anyone knows Larry from Warrior Painters, we went to college together at UC Irvine, and I used to, for his gifts, I used to draw little things for him. But I didn't seriously try to paint or do anything other than just kind of mess around.
I mean, because you wanted to become a programmer, and that was a pretty good career path. So.
Yeah. So I was already good at programming, so there was no reason to continue. Although I do remember when Larry first started going to Art Center, we were sitting there talking, and he's like, you know what, Kim, I think you would really enjoy Art Center. You would really do well here. Obviously, that's before all the disillusionment. I was always curious about that because I never considered myself an artist. And even now, a lot of times people ask me if I'm an artist or whatever, and I'm always like, well, I do art. I like to do art a lot, and I do art daily, but it's so hard for me to say that I'm an artist.
Why do you think it's like that?
I don't know. I think it's because the word itself is so loaded, and it means so many different things to different people. And at its strictest level, it's like it has to be your life, like what accumulates in your life, which is what I see a lot on the Discord as well. And it's like it's hard to feel like an artist when I'm really just messing around.
It sounds like, so you feel like if you want to become like an artist, you have to kind of like do art for a while and then sort of commit it to it.
Yeah, and I think one of the hard things too is I've always loved art. Like I've always loved going to galleries, and I've always loved following artists and stuff, even before all of this. And I think maybe because of that, I can see that my artwork isn't that good. So like, I always kind of pull myself back and like, okay, I have a long way to go. So I don't know if I'm there yet.
You've been doing really good.
Oh, thank you.
Improving a lot.
Thank you. I do feel like I have been improving, especially with being surrounded by art all the time and being surrounded by art concepts. And one of the funny things is being on Discord, I'm learning so many art words that I wouldn't know. Like there's a lot of times people are talking and they're saying things, and I'm like, wow, I know that like what words you're saying, but I have no idea what you're talking about. So then I'll just like ask them like, so what do those words mean? What does value mean? What does composition mean? What does a tangent mean? That kind of thing. And it's been cool because then I get to learn. I feel like I'm getting crash course in art school without having to like commit to anything.
Without paying?
Oh yeah, the hundreds of thousands of dollars that it actually costs. Yeah.
Well, you do support the group. You're one of our supporters.
I am. Well, I mean, you guys bring me so much joy. It's a small price to pay to support a group that brings me joy, at least for a couple hours every day. I mean, honestly, I should be paying more, but
no, but you bring a lot of value to the group too.
Yeah, thank you.
You make friends, and you are always super patient with people, and you help the group solve a lot of conflicts. You're really good with that.
I try my best. Yeah, I've been told that I'm kind of the group mom. which is funny because I've never considered myself particularly maternal, but
You are a mom, though.
yeah, I know I'm a mom, but I'm not. I'm a mom that spends hours a day on Discord while my son is outside programming. So I'm
That's
like,
the best mom.
yeah, I'm like, you go do your thing. I'm gonna go do my thing. We'll talk later. Although I have less time now because I'm homeschooling him for the year, so I'm sad because I don't get to come on in the mornings anymore. Because before I used to come on as soon as I woke up, and then I got to hang out with the people from Europe and stuff, and that was fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I definitely miss Ephraim. But no,
He misses you too, I'm sure.
yeah, he better. No. So despite homeschooling, I'm still spending a lot of time on the Discord, and it's been really valuable. I mean, it's been nice. It's really helped me feel like I'm connected to people. I remember being in self-quarantine originally. One of the worst parts was feeling all alone, and I know there's a lot of people out there who feel all alone. And I honestly do think that Discord fulfills a lot of that need to just connect with people. And it's been nice. I mean, I've made new friends for the first time in years. Like a lot of the people on here, I feel like I've known for much longer, probably because we've gone through some pretty rough times just with it being 2020.
Yeah.
So
definitely. How was it like when you were quarantining yourself before this happened?
Well, it's hard. It's funny because I compare it to that time, but it's like it's hard to compare it because at the time I was also on chemotherapy, so I wasn't feeling well. I was sick, and I was alone since no one was in quarantine. My husband was still working and Rand was in school. And so I was just home alone all day. And at the time, since I was on this crazy medicine that was destroying my immune system, my son got sick and I couldn't even help him because my immune system was so bad. I couldn't be in the same room with him, and that felt really bad. So like the whole situation was definitely much, much worse than just being in quarantine and having to deal with a pandemic, I guess.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, the pandemic is less bad than the other stuff. So
having your perspective is definitely going to help a lot of people recognize like how good their life is right now. Like,
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but art is amazing. And I think it's really cool that, art can not only be therapy, but it can bring people together. I mean, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to make so many friends doing art.
Were you able to do a little bit of art during that time when you were on chemotherapy?
Yes, I was, but it was hard a lot of times to even get up. So what I would do is I'd leave all my paint stuff out on my table and I just get up and then I draw paintings that took like less than 5 minutes just to say that I put paint on paper, just to feel like I accomplished something for the day. And it helped. It definitely helped. Yeah.
Okay. So during the past 2 years, did you have a lot of chances to actually do plein air painting?
For 2019, yeah, I went out every day. Well, sometimes I would paint from my window if I wasn't feeling that well. But we just moved, and our previous house that we were living in had a view of the Strip. So I was able to paint the Las Vegas Strip like every day. Our new house we own, we are not as rich as that house. So we do not have a strip view, but it is.
But you still have a window. You get to paint the streets.
I have a window. Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Yeah, maybe I should go out and paint my house one of these days.
Yeah. Wear a mask.
Yeah. Seriously.
Then how did you learn about plein air, this phrase, for the first time?
I learned about plein air when I got invited to Worry Painters. And sounds bad. I was like, Angela's like a bad speller or something because she's like writing what looks like plein air, but like she spells out the E like every time. Like And then I was like, wait, maybe it's like actually a thing. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, okay. It's like, it's supposed to be spelled like that. It was really cool to see everyone do the plein air stuff. And what's sad is even before the plein air pool stuff, I actually always wanted to go out with you guys, but every time I would come to Southern California, either it would be the 1 week you guys didn't do stuff, or like I would have some things scheduled right when you guys were doing things. So unfortunately, I was never able to go out with you guys. But
It's okay. You can come over after all this is over.
For sure.
Or we can go to Vegas. I don't know.
Yeah.
Do a trip.
You guys can come to me. For sure.
Yeah. What type of paintings do you enjoy right now? Like plein air or still life or?
I like, that's the problem, is I don't even know what I like, because so I go all over the place because I'm like still learning so much that every time I see a new shiny thing, I'm like, oh, I want to try that. I mean, right now I've been trying to learn how to use gouache because I've seen so many people use gouache on warrior painters, and it's extremely difficult for me, but it's been fun. It's been fun learning a new skill, I guess. But my favorite art medium is definitely watercolor. Like, yeah.
What about your favorite subject to paint?
I personally like to paint girls that look like they're dead inside. It's like a very specific thing. It's weird. I've always liked paintings of people who just look really vacant. For some reason, it calls to me. Maybe because I'm dead inside. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, that's what I enjoy trying. I enjoy painting flowers. I paint a lot of flowers. I like to paint girls that look like they're dead inside with flowers.
Very specific. That's a very unique subject you choose.
But as of late, I've been doing a lot of landscapes, actually. Just trying to get the basic skills, I guess, I need so that I can make the things I want to paint better. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Are you still taking any classes or watching tutorials?
I'm still enrolled in schoolism, so my plan is to switch to a new schoolism class because I tried to do one of those schoolism classes, and after the second lesson, I was so lost because it was definitely for people much further in their art journey than I am. So I was like, okay, I have to go back and take the fundamental classes, even if like some of the stuff is too easy or whatever. I really need to get like even the language down, right? The art language down first so that I can understand what people are talking about.
So before all this and before your chemotherapy, did you go out with your family to some places so you can paint?
Yeah, I would actually carry my to-go kit of like art stuff with me, and if there was something nice to paint, I'd paint it. I went to Disneyland and painted every morning. That was really fun. And I went to Seattle and I was able to paint there, and it is nice. It is nice to have paintings because I feel like when I look back at the paintings of the places I've gone, there's so much more emotion for me there than looking at like a picture I just took with my phone. And then I also take photos of whatever I drew with the thing in the back so that I can remember that's what I drew. The thing I paint doesn't always look like the thing that I was trying to paint. So, it's nice to also remind myself that was what I was trying to paint.
I think you are an artist. Like you carry your to-go paint box everywhere. You paint and you take photos of your painting.
I guess so. Yeah. I guess so. It's less uncomfortable to say I'm an artist now. I'd have to say there is still that reservation that I have of like, am I really an artist? I don't know. Yeah.
Plus, artist is a pretty broad term.
Yeah, it's a broad term. Yeah, it's all because what's funny is I also for a little while before the pandemic hit, I was actually teaching people how to do watercolor because I had a bunch of friends who lived around me who wanted to learn how to do the things I was doing in watercolor, and I was trying to explain to them like it's really like what I personally was doing was really easy and anyone can do what I was doing and that anyone can make something pretty if they wanted to. So I just had people come over and showed them how to paint the simple paintings that I was doing. And that was really interesting. That was actually really eye-opening for me because that was one of the first times where I realized just how hard on myself I was because I saw how hard they were on themselves. And I would see their art and I'd be like, your art is fine. It's beautiful. You're doing great. You know, you are an artist because you made this painting, you know? So then I kept having to, like, I keep having to tell myself that, you know, like, oh, it's fine. You know, like I'm practicing. This is okay. It's okay to learn. It's okay to, in that way, I am an artist because I'm making art. I think a lot of times I don't know what people mean, like whether or not they're talking about it in terms of like, am I an artist as a career or am I just a person who does art? So, you know, I do art, but it will never be my career, I don't think.
What is a career anyways?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's funny too, because programming and web development were my hobbies, and then they became my career for about 20 years. And one of the reasons I'm so resistant to making any money from art, even when I get asked for commissions or whatever, I say no because I worry that once I open that door, I'll lose the joy. Because at some point in my career, in the 20 years, I completely lost any joy in programming. So I want to keep this happiness going. It's hard to find things that make you really happy.
I mean, you can always find a balance. It's not like 1 or 0, right? Well, you're a coder, so it's not just 1 or 0, but it is.
Yeah. I know. I realize that other people can do that. It's just I don't know if I have the willpower to be the type of person that can enjoy the thing that is also my career. I'm always amazed at how people on this Discord they can paint all day and then come home and do personal paintings.
Well, because
like
that's exactly they think like you. They're not happy with their career. That's why they have to pay for themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
Yeah. So just treating doing art as a hobby. How do you motivate yourself to do it? Do you feel happy all the time when you pick up your paintbrush?
You know, honestly, I don't feel happy all the time. Um, but what's been keeping me going is I know there are things that I want to be able to paint. I haven't gotten there yet. Everything I do is to get to the point where I can paint the things I want to paint.
The girl that feels empty inside with flowers on her side.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
So that's your goal. You want to get there. That's why I don't feel happy.
I want to get there. Yeah. No, well, because, you know, like any skill, it's never going to be easy. And I frequently find myself reaching plateaus where I get to a point where I realize, oh, I improved to a certain point, and to get to the next level, I actually have to put in a lot of work to get there. So then I sit there and I kind of debate between whether or not I just want to stay where I am for the rest of my life and just keep doing the same paintings or actually put work into it. And so there's that push and pull for me, trying to find the balance, as you said.
But why can't you just make baby steps and slowly get into the next level?
That's what I aim for, but I think I might have a type A personality. I don't know. I think my mom is in my head telling me, why an A minus?
Yeah. If you start to do it, you have to do it really well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why even start?
Yeah, like what's the point? But then, like, I oscillate between that and being like, wait a second, I want to have fun. I want to enjoy this, But then a lot of times I'm like, oh, you know what? I have to dial back because as long as I keep going, I'll improve, right? I hope, I'm not in a rush.
Do you talk to people whose art you really like and see like what is this one thing they could not really teach you, but just like enlighten you, like so you
Yeah,
don't have to go all the way?
yeah, I do. And what's really nice about the Discord is, I can ask people if I have questions. I can ask for critique. I can ask for advice. People are so generous with their time and they have been helping me. So that is
Mm-hmm.
nice. So I do feel like I've definitely improved much more in the past few months than I have just on my own.
What are some of your favorite artists?
One of my favorite artists is your wife, Angela Sung. She's amazing. I mean, I do love Nathan Fowles. It's hard to say their names because I only know their Instagram names. I like this one guy on Instagram. His name's TK Watercolor. I don't know what his name is. I was introduced to the work of Craig Mullins, and then people were shocked that I didn't know who he was.
It's okay. I didn't know who he was either.
Yeah.
They're in this small bubble.
Yeah, they have their own celebrities. It's okay. Web development has its own celebrities too. No one cares about Paul Irish except for me. So it's fine. So a lot of the people that I love, they're not the celebrities of, animation or whatever. I love Aji Kawasaki, Kellogg's Loops. I don't know what his real name is. I love the Ghibli stuff. The way the drawings are done is so beautiful. I'm pretty plebeian, I guess, because I also love the concept art books for things like Final Fantasy, mostly like the JRPGs and stuff. I think I love their style. It's so beautiful. If I was to choose to paint like anyone, I'd pick probably Audrey Kawasaki, maybe Stella M. Holberg, Amy Soul, Kellogg's Loops, does cool stuff.
Yeah, does any of them paint girls feeling dead inside with flowers?
Audrey Kawasaki paints girls with flowers. She draws these innocent-looking girls. They feel really erotic somehow. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, I'll see something like that, like a girl that looks dead inside, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I like. So it's just something about that emptiness really resonates with me. I start thinking about how they got to where they are. It's one of those weird things. I just really enjoy that feeling of like the question mark looking at.
Yeah, when you were describing how you started painting and all this, all I was thinking about was Frida, the Mexican
One, yeah.
painter.
Yeah. I've seen her paintings, but I have never looked up any of her information.
I think you should watch this Netflix movie.
Oh yeah,
about her. Yeah, she got into a car accident when she was younger, and then she had some aftermath in her body they couldn't fix, and later on she couldn't really move, and all she did was painting. And all her paintings later on, which were some of her best work, was full of like pain and agony, but it was really good. It just a lot of emotions inside.
Yeah, like that's always been really inspiring for me too, because it's hard not to sometimes just feel sorry for myself, when I'm not feeling well. But then, for example, I follow a guy on Instagram who doesn't have any arms. Like, well, he has his arms up until his elbows, and he paints so beautifully. And seeing people who work through their disabilities and still be able to create really amazing stuff and grow as artists, it's definitely very inspiring. So I definitely want to look up Frida's story.
You're very inspiring, and
thank you.
you're finding ways to rebuild your confidence for yourself, and you're finding your hobby, like to fill up your day. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm
Also,
really bad at taking compliments, so but thank you.
You can transfer the compliments to Brent.
It's all thanks to my husband. It is really, though. I mean, I really appreciate the fact that he's so supportive. The fact that he only complains a little bit when I buy watercolor that costs like hundreds of dollars, like he's willing to let me buy paintings because I like them, spend tons of money.
What are some suggestions you could give for people who want to start painting on their own? Just like you. Yeah.
I think the hardest part is starting it. And I think the biggest hurdle to get over was actually caring what the outcome of the painting is. Because in the beginning, every time I painted something, I would get so depressed and so bummed out because what I was painting was not what I imagined in my head. And I think really, if you want to start, you have to accept that it's not going to be good. And every painting, and even when I watch people on the live stream painting, these professional artists, all the paintings look really bad until they don't. They look like there's always a point in time where painting just looks crazy and terrible. And sometimes it's okay to it's just a file. You can just open up a new file. It's just paper. You can just throw away the paper. You can go move on. And if it's not perfect, it's fine, because really, usually the only one who will see the flaws is you. And if other people are judging your flaws, does it really matter? I joined this watercolor monthly subscription thing, and they have a watercolor oath. I promise to be kind to myself. I promise not to compare myself to others, and I promise to have fun. And whenever I start feeling like I don't want to start, I just tell myself the oath, and then it's a lot easier to start.
Wow, that's really good suggestion. I have to write that down. I'll put it on my table somewhere too.
And one of the best pieces of advice I got when I first started this whole thing was from Larry. He told me, you should really remember to take pictures of everything you paint and post it either on Instagram or on Facebook in some kind of album. No matter how bad the artwork is, you should post it. Because if you keep going, you'll be able to go back and see that you've improved. Now that I've been into it a year and a half, I can definitely see some improvement. So it's nice.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. We love hearing from you. Feel free to write us a review on Apple Podcast or other platforms, leave us a comment on YouTube, or just message us on Instagram. If you want to support us, please consider donating on Gumroad. You'll find a link in the description. All right, see you again soon.